Nobody.
We can show them what it looked like, what it sounded like, and some information about it, and we can give them a dimension that print can't. I'm in this business because I like people, and that's what we deal with every day, people. Issues that affect people, tragedies that happen to people, wonderful things that happen that people are excited about. If you don't like people, you shouldn't be in television news, I don't think. That's what it's all about.
House Calls, tomorrow at 5, only on 5 Alive. From the 5 Alive News Center, Bruce Dunbar, Mary Carr, Mike Morgan, Dick Pryor. This is 5 Alive News tonight.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. The U.S. Supreme Court will soon be handing down a landmark decision in an Oklahoma death penalty case.
The question is whether juveniles should be sentenced to die for a capital crime. Attorneys for Oklahoma death row inmate Wayne Thompson say it would be cruel and unusual punishment for the young man to be executed. He was 15 when he killed his former brother-in-law. The victim, Charles Keene, was described in court as a wife-beater. His ex-wife is Thompson's sister. Keene was found in the Washita River near Chickasha, shot twice in the head.
A 15-year-old doesn't consider death as happening to them. I mean, ask any 15-year-old, would they believe they was going to die if they did something? They'll tell you no.
This young man, Wayne Thompson, would not be killed in the Soviet Union, the Republic of South Africa, Libya. The United States is the only country that kills its children.
He deserved to die like any other person that would go out and commit this kind of act.
Wayne Thompson is behind bars at the Oklahoma State Penitentiary in McAllister. He's one of 34 death row inmates who were under 18 at the time of their crimes. The High Court will make its landmark decision before its recess in 3 weeks.
In other news tonight, Oklahoma City's Firestone union members will have a new contract, even though they voted against it. The contract has won majority approval from workers nationwide. Workers in Akron, Ohio, Noblesville, Indiana overwhelmingly approved the contracts today. Union members in Decatur, Illinois, and Russellville, Arkansas had already approved the pact. The only rejection vote came from Oklahoma City. The new contract includes a 25-cent an hour increase. Some Firestone workers here voted against it because of salary cuts they took last year to keep the plant open. Well, Edmonds Lake Arcadia will be closed up July 1st if city officials don't pay the bill. The bill is $500,000. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says Edmond owes the money, but Edmonds Mayor Carl Rehrman says the city won't be paying because it's double the original estimate for the park. The city council will take up the matter at a meeting tomorrow evening.
Oklahoma schools are not keeping up with other states in education funding. That's the word today from the National Education Association. Officials say our state has provided the least amount of new revenue for education in the past 5 years of any state. Since 1982, Oklahoma schools have had a revenue increase of just 2%. The national average is 41%. Nationally, with combined money from state, local, and federal sources, Oklahoma ranked 49th with an increase of 10%. Texas raised funding by 39%. Arkansas was up 54%. The only state ranking lower than ours was Louisiana with 8.2%. Officials say our state is in danger of having what they call a third world education system.
As summertime heats up, so are the scams of some lawn care services. How do you avoid being duped or hiring a company with a bad reputation? 5 Alive's Jane Braden got some tips today from the State Agriculture Department.
Mike Fuller says you could call him a lawn cop. Fuller rides around in his Department of Agriculture van, keeping an eye out for lawn companies that aren't licensed to spray against bugs and weeds.
Now, if they do spraying, of course, they come under our law, the applicator law, and are therefore required to be licensed and comply with our rules and regulations. But if they do not spray, then they do not come under the law.
Fuller trusts this company, but when he spots one he doesn't know about, he stops, asks if they have a license, and takes a sample of the chemicals being used.
That's all we need normally right there.
Okay. Some sprays are illegal. A bad company can do poor quality work, overcharge, and misuse dangerous chemicals. Reputable companies say, ask questions before you hire a lawn service.
how long the company's been in existence, and they could call the state and find out the record and make sure they have a license.
When it comes to just average lawn care, there's very little the Ag Department can do to protect you against poor reputations. You can call and find out about the reputation of a service or a company. But the only way to really protect yourself is to do it yourself. From Norman Jane Braden, 5 Alive News.
Now, the government cannot control prices, and prices vary from company to company and lawn to lawn, depending on the size and number of trees.
Your Monday morning rush hour may include a detour tomorrow. Memorial Road eastbound between Santa Fe and the Broadway extension will be closed for resurfacing, but the westbound lanes will be open. If you normally drive Memorial between Santa Fe and Broadway, the detour will be at 122nd Street. The eastbound lane will be closed a week. The westbound lanes will close next week. The resurfacing will go all the way to I-35 and should take 4 to 5 weeks.
When we come back, an Oklahoma family is crafting fabric of hope for a brother and son who died of AIDS.
And later on, a fallen leader remembered 20 years later.
Has been shot. And another man, a Kennedy campaign manager, and possibly shot him.
New federal estimates say that at least 450,000 Americans will have been diagnosed with AIDS by the end of 1993. Those numbers predict a steady rise in the disease over the next 5 years. Those figures have a very personal meaning for one Oklahoma family tonight. They have spent this weekend remembering their brother and son who died of AIDS. Mike Disler died of AIDS nearly 2 years ago. His mothers and sisters are weaving his memory into the fabric of this material, a piece of cloth to be sewn into the National AIDS quilt later this month. The cloth is symbolic of Mike's life, his physical and spiritual struggles and hopes.
To me, he was just such an amazing person that he needs some tribute paid to him. And this is a beautiful way, I think. I think this quilt is a powerful enough statement that it can touch people.
This cloth will become a part of the National AIDS Quilt, which is a collection of similar memorials from families all over our country.
The words cancer and surviving don't always go together in our vocabulary, but some Oklahomans who have fought the battle of cancer and won are changing that. They are cancer survivors, and every day their ranks grow larger as medicine discovers better forms of treatment and cures. These survivors have gathered at Baptist Medical Center armed with bright balloons in a celebration of National Cancer Survivors Day.
2, 1.
I decided that I had too much to live for and that I was going to have to help fight it in every way I could. So I developed a strong sense of determination and decided that I could do whatever I had to do, and I did.
Very impressive lady. Gloria Ruffin has survived Hodgkin's disease for nearly 6 years, but at the time, doctors said her chances of making it were only 50-50.
In other medical news tonight, pregnant women who use video terminals at work may be more at risk for miscarriage. Authors of a study published in this month's issue of the American Journal of Industrial Medicine say women who work at VDTs are twice as likely to miscarry as women who don't use computers. The authors of the study say it doesn't mean their terminals cause miscarriages. They say other job factors could be involved. Some experts say the terminals cause cellular disruption.
Mike Morgan says it's time to give the 80s a wave goodbye and move to higher temperatures.
We'll have the complete weather outlook, including those higher temperatures, right after this.
There are just a few short hours left until Red Earth 88 comes to a close. We've seen much of the festivities, but as 5 Alive's Kathy Weiss reports, Red Earth couldn't happen without a lot of hard work.
A Sunday in Oklahoma, the sounds of spiritual music fill the air, including Red Earth 88. But the rhythm of the gospel soon gave way to the beat of the drum. The grand entry, most agree, is a sight to see, but many also enjoy a stroll outside the myriad, taking in the Indian art. The backbone to the festivities is volunteers. Close to 800 of them have given their time this weekend, helping with just about everything.
Just logistics, getting people placed and, making sure that every area is covered when it should be covered and people are relieved when they need to be relieved. There are a few things like that.
As the core of volunteers grows, so too Red Earth. In the 12 months since the last celebration, organizers say they've barely had time to catch their breath. But all the hard work has given way to a lot of success.
I'm the banker in the group, you see, and of course we are trained to think in terms of bottom lines, dollars and cents. And in my wildest dreams, I never expected we'd be this far in 10 years, much less 2.
And if the organizers have anything to say about it, these teepees will become a familiar sight this time every year. Kathy Weiss, 5 Alive News Tonight.
There are 1,100 Native American dancers in the competition. They come from almost every state in the Union and all the provinces of Canada.
$50,000 worth of prize money will be announced at midnight tonight. And it was beautiful down there today. Nice weather, Mike.
Ideal weather here in Oklahoma today. And usually the first 2 weeks in June is when we say goodbye to severe weather season and hello to summer. And so far in Oklahoma this year, I think we've only had 7 or 8 tornadoes, depending on what the official count will be. And that's less than 20% of our normal tornado count. I'm sure nobody will complain about that. But this week, we will be seeing summertime temperatures. Right now in Oklahoma City, as of 10 o'clock, we're looking at clear skies, 72 degrees out there, a beautiful evening. Winds are southeast at 6 miles an hour. That humidity unusually low at 43%. The pressure's rising slowly at 30.07 inches of mercury. No rain today. The morning low was a cool, seasonably cool anyway, 59 degrees. And this afternoon's high, despite the brilliant sunshine, only 80, which is well below those normals of 64 and 84. The record's 48 and 99. Let's check the morning low temperatures across the state one last time here. Temperatures in the upper 40s in some of the lower sheltered valleys of northeastern Oklahoma. Not terribly unusual for this time of year, but still a pleasant change from the recent heat we've seen. 50 degrees for a morning low around Miami. And Sallisaw saw a record low temperature of 52 this morning under clear skies and light winds. Mostly mid to upper 50s across the remainder of the state, with 58 up around Enid and Ponca City. Also down in Ardmore, 55 for a morning low temperature over in Clinton. And this afternoon, temperatures warmed up over 30 degrees in some areas. Sallisaw warmed up to 84 after that morning low of 52, 82 for a high in Miami. 80 degrees, a popular number across central Oklahoma around Ponca City, Enid, and here in the metro, while out west, 82 in Clinton for a high. Also up in Alva, the warm spot, 87 down in the southwestern corner in the Red River Valley around Altus. Tonight at 10 o'clock, skies are clear to fair, some high clouds across the western half of the state, and temperatures dropping off fairly rapidly through the low 70s in most areas. 64 around Miami again for the cool spot, 74 down in the southwestern corner at Altus for the warm spot. Oklahoma City 72, 71 down around Lake Texoma and Ardmore, 68 in Enid and Ponca City, and 71 for a current temperature around Hobart and Lawton. Now, our satellite picture across the United States shows a large area of clear skies from Oklahoma north and eastward, thanks to a strong center of high pressure located at the surface and especially aloft located over the upper Mississippi Valley. Montana today saw an unbelievably warm day just ahead of a cold front, 109 degrees around Glendive, Montana for the nation's hot spot today, hotter than the deserts of Southern California and Arizona. And Glasgow, Montana, right about in there was 108, and that was only 5 degrees shy of their all-time record hottest temperature recorded way back in 1919. Now, the movie shows some thunderstorms occurred near Denver today. 2 tornadoes just north of Denver and some 1-inch hail around Fort Collins. Some minor damage about 20 north of Denver, but otherwise clear skies prevail all across the southern plains. And that's going to be the order of the week, it looks like, thanks to this strong center of high pressures that builds right over central and southern plains. So here's tomorrow's forecast map. Some very widely scattered showers and thunderstorms over the southern and central Rockies, out into the high plains of Kansas, North and South Dakota, Nebraska. Very hot weather up to the north again. Not quite as warm, but still well above normal, with 92 around Fargo, 91 in Minneapolis and International Falls for a high. Sunshine and 87 over in the Piedmont around Raleigh-Durham, and over in the southern plains, 86 around Amarillo, 88 with sunshine in Dallas. Cool weather out west, 60 around Pendleton and Seattle for a high temperature. Our weather will be warming up thanks to this strong center of high pressure located right over the southern plains. I think we'll see 90s here by about Wednesday of the coming week, possibly mid-90s in the western part of the state. So here's our 5-day forecast for central Oklahoma. Hardly a cloud to be found for the next 5 days. 85 degrees for a high tomorrow, and then 88 by about Tuesday. Sunny and 90 on Wednesday, and around 92 by Thursday and Friday. So specifically, our forecast for tonight, we're looking for clear skies and cool 58 for a morning low. Very nice. Southeast winds 4 to 8. And then for Monday, more abundant sunshine, temperatures warm, low humidities, 85 degrees for a high with a light southeast breeze at 6 to 14. So just ideal weather. Summer is on the way, though, and we'll be inching our way up there toward the 90-degree mark.
All right, Mike.
And when we come back, the year was 1968 and the word was assassination.
An anniversary that will take you back a few years right after this.
What should you do if a tornado watch is issued? Be prepared to act if the storm moves your way. Go over your family's safety plan and keep watching 5 Alive. We'll alert you if a tornado develops.
Disaster cleanup continues in the Soviet Union this evening. 3 boxcars carrying 120 tons of industrial explosives blew up yesterday. 68 people have been killed, 230 others injured. Now, doctors are asking for blood donations to help the victims. It happened about 240 miles east of Moscow and left behind a crater 80 feet deep and 175 feet wide. The investigation tonight continues into what could have caused that explosion.
And closer to home, 2 days are left before the last of the nation's primary elections. California, New Jersey, Montana, and New Mexico offer the biggest one-day bonanza of delegates since...
He must have been Colonel Warnsdorf. He would not have shared that with the subordinate. That is the responsibility of that commanding officer.
Are some of the senators in the 100th Congress from the northeast portion of the...
It seems like Andre Agassi and John McEnroe and Yvonne Lendl had stolen the headlines in men's professional tennis over the past few months. But Mats Wilander seems to surface whenever there's a Grand Slam event.
He's a good player. He's been criticized a lot for not having the intensity that some other players have, but he plays very well on clay, and he did again today in Paris. Mats Wilander has become the first man to win the opening 2 legs of the Grand Slam of tennis since fellow Swede Bjorn Borg in 1980. In January, Wilander won the Australian Open singles crown. Today, he won the French Open title with a straight-set victory over Henri Leconte. Wilander is a classic clay court player, possessing great stamina and patience. He was on top of his game today. Here he is in the far court, dropping a lob over Leconte for an easy point in the first set. Wilander served beautifully and did not beat himself. Leconte tested Wilander only in the first set. The Frenchman wins this point, but lost the first set 5-7. Wilander was in command the rest of the way. In fact, he dominated. Leconte won only 8 games, and Wilander took the match 7-5, 6-2, 6-1 in just an hour and 52 minutes. The championship was Wilander's 3rd at the French Open. The 3rd leg of the Grand Slam is Wimbledon, which begins in 2 weeks. Martina Navratilova and Pam Shriver won the women's doubles championship. It's Martina's 50th Grand Slam title. Doc, don't call me Dwight Gooden did it all for the Mets today as they drilled the Cubs 11-3. With his team up 7-0 in the bottom of the 7th, Dr. K ripped a pitch from Bill Landrum and sent it into the bleachers. A 2-run homer. It was 9-0 Mets. Gooden did more than hit. He carried a no-hitter into the 8th. Damon Berryhill spoiled Gooden's gem when he led off the inning with a single. The Doc finished with a 5-hitter and picked up his 9th win of the season. 11-3 the final score. St. Louis fell to Philadelphia 6-3. Winning pitcher David Palmer homered in that ball game. Montreal beat Pittsburgh. Andres the Giant Galarraga hit his 15th homer. He leads the majors. Los Angeles beat Cincinnati. Houston fell to San Francisco. Will Clark smashed his 14th home run of the season. Atlanta beat San Diego 3-1. In Kansas City, reliever Dan Quisenberry isn't pitching much, so he had time to hose down some of the Royals fans. The Mariners needed to find a way to cool off George Brett. He went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 3 runs batted in as the Royals drubbed Seattle 7-3. In Baltimore, the Orioles should have gotten out of the first inning with just 3 runs scored, but with 2 out, the brothers Ripken botched a force play, and that opened the floodgates. The Yankees scored 9 times in the inning and won 9-2. The White Sox beat Texas despite this tape measure homer by Pete Incaviglia. Comiskey Park barely held the Inkman's 13th dinger of the season. It landed in the upper deck, but only counted as 1 run, and the Rangers lost 5-4. Other scores, you see Baltimore falling to New York 9-2. Cleveland lost to Detroit. The Tigers kept Greg Swindell from winning his 11th game of the season. Kansas City beat Seattle. Toronto completed a 4-game sweep of Boston. Oakland fell to Minnesota, and California beat Milwaukee in 11 innings to snap a 6-game losing streak. American Association play tonight. The Niners and Nashville Sounds tied at 3 in the bottom of the 8th. At the College World Series, Florida eliminated California, and Arizona State trails Wichita State in the bottom of the 7th. Bruce's buddy Morris Satolsky blew a 4-stroke lead with 11 holes remaining, but still won the Kemper Open Golf Tournament on the 2nd hole of a playoff with Tom Kite. Both players parred the first extra hole, and both missed the green on the next hole. Hatalski produced a beautiful recovery shot out of the deep rough. The ball stopped just 4 feet from the cup. After Kite missed his putt for par, Hatalski knocked in his par putt, good for $144,000. It's Hatalski's first tour victory since 1983. Mike Reed and Craig Stadler tied for third. Laura Davies overtook Nancy Lopez on the back nine to win the Jamie Farr Toledo Classic by 3 strokes. Lopez has finished second each of the 3 times she's played in the tournament. Orville Moody birdied the 18th hole to force a playoff, then ran in another birdie putt on the first extra hole to win the Reunion Pro-Am Seniors Tournament. Moody beat out Bob Charles, Don Massengale, and Bobby Nichols in sudden death. There was a major upset at Ruidoso Downs in the Kansas Futurity Quarter Horse Race. The winner, the horse next to the outside, Okie Dokie Baby, out of Austin, Texas. The brown filly beat My Dash and Blushing Indian to the finish line in a time of 17.69 seconds. The favorite, Merganser, trained by Oklahoman Jack Brooks, had some trouble in the gate and was a disappointing 9th. Okie Dokie Baby, the winner of the Kansas Futurity. Indy 500 champion Rick Mears won again today. Mears held off teammate Danny Sullivan to win the Miller High Life 500 for the second time in his career. Emerson Fittipaldi finished third. There was another rather uneventful race on the NASCAR circuit. Bill Elliott led most of the way and won the Budweiser 500. He crossed the finish line 18 seconds ahead of Morgan Shepherd.
Okie dokie, baby.
Okie dokie, baby. See you later.
And yay, Rick Mears. All right.
When we come back, tips for filling the time on your kids' hands during summer vacation.
Stay with us for that.
Well, summer vacation is here, and that means the kids have a lot of free time at home when mom and dad don't. But Oklahoma City has many options for young entertainment for the summer. 5 Alive's Jeff Mirasola has details.
The day you thought would never come as a kid, last day of school. And what are you going to do on your summer vacation?
Pretty much doing nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
Well, you've always got places like Frontier City, Whitewater, and the zoo, but a steady diet can become costly. So many people will be turning to city parks, rec centers, and swimming pools. And this year, the city says it's ready for them.
We have a lot of swimming opportunities. We have very good programs at our recreational centers. They have organized sports and games, arts and crafts, and cultural type activities, performing activities.
Back to swimming pools. Will Rogers Pool is undergoing a major facelift to its bathhouse and changing area. A fence has been moved back and a sunbathing area has been added. There's even a place for parents to get out of the sun while the kids swim. There's also a new concession area for the first time. So now where will you be going this summer?
Hawaii. Hong Kong. Hong Kong. I might go to Hong Kong and Germany.
Well, there's one in every crowd. Jeff Mirasola, 5 Alive News Tonight.
Hey, think big. Why not? Not all of the Oklahoma City rec centers and swimming pools are open at the same time. In fact, some are not open at all this year, so get a pencil ready and look for the center or pool in your area. The following rec centers are open for 9 hours per day beginning on July 5th. The hours are 9 in the morning until 6 at night. These centers are open only 6 hours a day. Check with the Park and Recreation Department for specific hours of operation. And this is the list of senior pools open beginning July 11th. Hours are from 1 to 7 Monday through Friday, 1 to 8 on Saturday, and 2 to 8 on Sunday. And these 6 junior pools are for kids up to age 11. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 6.
Good information. We want to thank you all for joining us. Have a great week.
This has been a presentation of 5 Alive News, recognized as the leader in Oklahoma broadcast journalism.
Hi, we're the McCain brothers. Next week at 6 on Good Morning Oklahoma. Miss Oklahoma USA Tamara Walker, Clay Bennett with the U.S. Olympic Festival, and commodity trader Howard Fowler. It all starts at 6.